Hi guys, my name is Dr. Rocker and today I will show you how to draw the Spider-Man in full color. Easy and step by step. And you will be able to win a box of ARRTX Alcohol Markers, which I will use to draw this piece. All you have to do is to subscribe and let me know down in the comment section who is your favorite comic book hero. But now, let's draw! The first step is the most important one, the sketch. Take your time and follow my lead and your drawing will look amazing even if you're not the most experienced artist.
We start with the line of the shoulders, make sure it's very steep, and then we connect it to the middle line of our body. And around these lines we build our figure. Starting off with the shoulders, and there's our torso already. These are the shoulders, and there is the hip area. Now we do a straight line for the arm, because our Spider-Man will swing over a chimney. Very powerful pose. This is going to be the other arm with a very foreshortened upper arm, forearm and hand. Now we are sketching in the chimney. Quite simple actually. And here we're already at the legs. You can see I'm keeping this very simple because it's just the base gesture drawing. And if you can manage to follow along with these simple shapes, half the work is done already. And after drawing the simple shape of the head, it's a side profile, we will lighten down our gesture drawing and go in with the actual lines. And I will speed up this part, because otherwise this video will take ages, but you can pause the video at any given time and you will be able to keep up, no problem. By the way, I'm drawing this on a cheap piece of Copic paper with a 2B pencil. Usually I would draw directly on a Bristol board and use a hard pencil like a 2H, cause those hard pencils produce a clean drawing and do not smudge. And especially when you want to color a piece later with alcohol-based markers or something like that, you need a very clean underdrawing. But they are very hard to be seen in a video like this, so I decided to go with a 2B pencil so you guys can see it better. I will trace it on the window later to be able to ink and color it on a proper piece of paper. And this proper piece of paper will be a Strathmore Bristol board 300 series. Now we are cleaning up the whole thing again, because we are actually done with all the most important and main outlines. Now we are defining the red area from the costume where all the spider webs will be in. And by the way, all of these steps will be on my Instagram account, so you can use it for reference. When you are doing the spider webs, the best way is to start in the middle with the middle line. And from there on, you try to keep every distance from line to line consistent. This is a bit of a boring part, but you have to take your time with those because they can make or break your drawing. So don't be sloppy and try to keep the same distance to all your lines. And you can use help lines like I do all the time, so the web rounds around the body like it should be. And now we are almost done with all those spider webs. And when you take a look, you can see, okay, it's Spider-Man, but something is missing, and this makes so much of a difference. And here it is, guys, the spider on the chest. Way better. And the last thing we need to define on our sketch is the rim light. The evening sun will hit Spider-Man on the backside and slightly from above. And make sure to clean this up properly, because there are no spider webs supposed to be seen in the rim light area.
Okay people, we have our sketch. And I already traced it on my Bristol board. And here you can see the big difference filming wise. Now you know why I did it on an extra piece of paper with a very soft pencil. So you can see properly. And now I will use my Tombow brush pen to ink this. You can also use a Micron pen, size 0.5 or 0.8 or something like that. But I want to use some line weight, so for me it's the Tombow pen. But I will also use a 0.1 fine liner from Micron to do all the spider webs. And since it's quite obvious how the inking process works, I will fast forward it quite a bit. So, let's go!
Now we basically just have to trace all these lines. For a proper line weight, a rule of thumb is, when you go towards the light, the line needs to get thinner. But if you like more of a manga style, it's also totally okay to just use a simple line with no line weight at all. And here I'm already using my 0.1 fine liner from Micron to do all those spider webs. And should you be more interested in things like line weight and how to render properly, check out my how to render video. you can find it here on YouTube.
And just like that, we are done with the inks. And be very careful not to ink this line, because this is just the edge of the rim light. Which means we are ready for some colors. Isn't that just a lovely sight? All those colors. Now we will use an extra piece of paper to find the right colors for our character.
5 minutes later.
And here's the selection of the colors I will use for this drawing. It's quite easy with Spider-Man because he's just red and blue. For a proper shading, it's usually enough to use 3 shadings of a color tone: light, middle and dark. Then we have a light yellow for the rim light, some reds for the red part of the suit, some orange tones for the chimney, and also some gray tones for the chimney and for the eye. So let's start with the first layer of color.
We start off with the bright yellow tone for the rim light. It's important to do these first because this way we can prevent mistakes. They are not defined with an ink line, so it's very likely to oversee those and color this area with the wrong color. Then we go in with the lightest tone of blue and the lightest tone of red. As you can see already, there's not just the light source from behind the character which produces the yellow rim light, there's also a light source hitting our character from the front. So we have to do a blending towards the edge of the front line. Always make sure to move the paper around so you can draw properly. Always use the tip of the brush to approach the edge of the line, so you have total control of what you're doing. And now we take the darker blue tones, mix them up with the light blue tone to produce some nice shadings on the blue areas of the suit. I defined all the leg muscles, which looks quite nice, but you don't have to do that. You can also just shade out the base form of the leg. It does look nicer with the muscles though. Same thing with the ribs. And now we will use one of my most beloved tricks when it comes to coloring. We will draw an extra dark shading next to the rim light. This way we increase the contrast big time. We also need to do a big shading under the rib cage, and again go as dark as possible next to the rim light. Remember this one, you will be able to use it in a lot of drawings and they will look amazing. Now I'm deepening the blue tones again, which is great because now the first layer had time to dry properly. And therefore it will be less likely that the color will bleed through the lines. On one hand, it works greatly if you go in as fast as possible with the next color tone for your blending, but on the other hand, if it's too wet, it might bleed through the lines, and this is a no-go. Now we deepen the shadows from the chimney, and then we add some last small shadings on Spider-Man.
Okay, my fellow artists, as you can see, this looks quite nice already, and you can leave it at that. It's a perfectly beautiful drawing. And you could also go in and do some extra layers to even deepen the contrast. Or you can do as I will now and use some colored pencils to polish the drawing even further. So let's do that. To find the right colors, we will use the extra piece of paper from before, and we will use the selected colors on the samples from before so we can find out the perfect tones. And just like that, I picked some colors for the suit, one for the chimney. This is a colorless blender, and for the gray tones I will just use a pencil. So let's polish this thing up properly.
When using colored pencils, it's always very important that they are very sharp. So make sure you have a good sharpener nearby. And as you can see, we're actually doing the exact same thing we just did with the alcohol-based markers. We are increasing the contrast and make all the shadings and blendings more smooth. Plus, we are able to produce a sharper line with those colored pencils, which is very good to be seen at the edge of the rim light. The most important trick when you use colored pencils over alcohol-based markers: the main color tone of the markers should be exactly the same color as the main color tone from the colored pencils. Cause this way you can come out of your dark shading so easily because you just blend smoothly in the exact same color. I used a 2B pencil and a blending stick for the shadings in the eye, and a white colored pencil for some last small highlights.
And we are done, fellas! Spider-Man jumping over a chimney, trying to keep up with Superboy. It's really cool how great these ARRTX markers work, and especially in combination with colored pencils, they really pop out. So don't forget to let me know down in the comment section who's your favorite superhero, and you might be able to win a box of these markers. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you had fun watching, and I hope you have been able to draw an awesome Spider-Man. If you should be new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so you won't miss out on any of my future awesome drawing videos. And should you be interested in drawing the Spider-Man in a more traditional way, with more hatching lines and all in pencils, then check out this video. That's where I show you how to draw the Spider-Man. But like I just said, in a more traditional way, just in pencils, in another pose. So, see you there, my friends, have a great time, don't forget to draw every day, and yeah, see you on this one.